This time on the Iron Empire, more progress on Andrea's UC Torana. All right, guys, back on the Torana now. We've been working on this thing on and off for the last couple of weeks. I've had Andrea down here getting her hands dirty as well. She's done a heap of cleaning and detailing stuff ready to go. And the first thing we got done was the underside of the guards, the underside of the bonnet, and the rad support panel. I assume this is where it gets in. These Toranas always rust on the hinges between these two bits of metal. And this little piece of metal here with the bolts, the spot where it in has like a little lip, so all the crap lands in there and rusts them out. So I'm filling that up so I can't happen again. Trying.
Just so I could heal and watch you grow. My wounds are bled and letters are wrote. Just so I could heal and watch you grow.
We're just giving this quarter a quick buff. Jake's being super anal as usual, wants to paint the car again. He's losing his mind. I said, we need to just hold off. We need to polish this car in another week really, but we're just gonna hit this one quarter and see how it comes up. Hopefully Jake's happy with the finish. It'll be fine.
I think my hair looks good.
That was magic. I see you right. I'm looking at you right now.
Yeah.
Are you happy with that, Jake?
Oh, yes. I don't know how this is going to go, is it?
It's gonna be perfect. Beauty. Pop her in.
Well, we'll see. There's a bit of a hole there, but see how we go. Get it in there.
This is the first install of our filter. Jake found a bunch of these filters in the other room, and there's enough to do like 5 million resprays. And we used a bit of old chain link fence from one of the gates out front, tension up nice and tight. And this is now going to poke in by the looks of it. It's going to work sweet. Alright, so flooring all mocked up, ready to go. Jake literally got the smallest amount and we are one tile short. This guy. But we're now gonna roll it all back, put the adhesive on, let it tack off, and then stick it down for good. It's getting there. Next up on the Torana, we want to get the underside of this thing all cleaned up, because obviously when we got the paint job done, the first point of call was to get the body looking sweet. We're gonna pull the arse end of this out, get it all sandblasted, paint it all in satin black 2-pack, and then the underside, there's a few rust repairs to do in the floor and a little bit just in this wheel well here. Once that's all done, we'll be giving it a stone guard so it looks all nice. We'll paint up the tank. But for now, we're sick of seeing this thing look like a 4-wheel drive. So these rear springs are coming out. This guy using metric spanners on the Imperial car. This big toolbox, he uses the wrong spanners. This sucks! I have to check this part number here, but I thought this was a standard replacement spring. It's high as anything. Actually, I'm pretty sure I did check it. Anyway, that's the lowered spring. That's as low as they got. It was not touching. That's as low as it's got. It's too high. This is terrible. What are Torana people doing? This sucks. This is how it needs to sit. This has just made it. It looks so much better. But unfortunately, those springs are sky high. And yes, I know, it hasn't got glass in it, hasn't got an interior in it. That will bring it down a little bit. You know, fuel in the tank will bring it down a little bit, but nowhere near where it needs to be. That was like probably 100 mil higher than that. So I'm not sure what we're gonna do. I mean, realistically, probably can't run quite that low, maybe a little bit higher anyway to get a bit more clearance, but I don't know what Torana people are doing. So if there's an answer, let me know. The only thing I know of is like, apparently you can run like a Kimura spring or something in it, but I don't know where I'm gonna get a Kimura spring from nowadays. King springs and Pettas only do 40 mil lower, which is what this is, which is no good. The only other option is to alter the height of these springs and make like a spacer like this stop here that basically goes from that size diameter out to the bigger size diameter, and get rid of a coil, because obviously this is more like what it needs to be, and not driving around in a jacked up Torana, because that's gay. Can't say gay. Happy. All right, while Jake sweeps the booth out, hopefully you can see me over in this dark corner here. I'll just show you some of the trim bits that Andrea has been cleaning up for the car. So the front seats are obviously got some wear here. They're split in the sections where the stitching is, which is standard of old cars. But overall the sheets are pretty nice nick. So I'm gonna get Steve from Stitches and Sound to do some repair panels on these. They're not getting a full retrim. They're just gonna get patch panels done to keep the cost down, just get it looking nice and neat and make them look more than respectable. Andrea's been busy. I've set her some tasks. She's painted up the spare wheel there, just so it looks nice and neat in the boot. That's going to do the job. There's booth stuff everywhere out here that I've got to deal with. The front parts are down here. Andrea's been going through it all, painting bits up, cleaning bits, things ready to go. And here's all the door trims. That door trim needs a repair, which I'll show you how to get them looking nice and flat again. But the rest are actually in really good shape. You can see these trims are all nice. Hopefully you can see in the dark here. But these trims are in pretty solid condition. That one's got a couple little marks in it. But overall not bad enough to need new door trims or anything like that. We like to keep it nice and stock looking. And the rest of the back seat is, Andrew put the door trims on it, so it's got little dimples in it now, but once a bit of heat gets to that, sorts them out, this back seat is in pretty good shape as well. It's got a little bit of cracking in the top here. So we're gonna put a new patch panel in that, but aside from that, that's gonna be sweet. The base of the back seat is somewhere else, but that's mint. That doesn't need any repairs done at all. As Jake cleans out the booth for the first time after we've just about finished it, super keen to wheel the car and see what it looks like. The booth does need 2 more insulation panels done on the front side and some glazing done in the front of the doors, and then around the doors there needs to be some sealing up done, and then probably early next week Sean Grinley, my mate that I've known forever, is going to come down and do some wiring, sign off on all the wiring work, make sure everything's all safe and up to date, and wire in the fan, and then we can fire it up for the first time and see how it sucks. Hopefully it's going to be sick. This is what happens when you want to just quickly throw some parts on to see what it looks like, and the parts aren't clean. All right, so we're in the booth now with the Torana and just giving it a wipe down. Obviously, as I mentioned in the last video, this car is still yet to be blocked and polished. We've obviously it's been a month or so now, and the paint has really hardened up. So with all the thinners and that sort of stuff sort of evaporating, doing its thing, that should all have happened by now. So by the time we block this in the coming weeks, it should be nice, and then send off to Bones, get him to give it a good polish. It's going to come up sick, but we just really wanted to see it in the booth. And yeah, aside from a few little bits and pieces, a little bit of sealing up here and there, some light covers and stuff, it's pretty much done in here. So you get the gist of it. Got the flooring done, and we can't wait to use it for the first time. It's going to be sick. So, all right, so that'll be a wrap on the update episode of the Torana. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out the online store, and I will see you all on an upcoming episode of The Iron Empire. Cheers, guys.